How to solve word problems. It is much easier to solve word problems if we use fractions. What is a fraction? A fraction tells us how many parts you have of a whole. When an object is divided into a number of equal parts, each part is called a fraction. All fractions have a numerator and a denominator. For instance, in this case, we have 3/4. 3 is on top, 4 is at the bottom. The 3 is the numerator, 4 is the denominator. Also, the top number in terms of the math is multiplying. So the top multiplies while the bottom divides. Also, another way of looking at it, the top is the count, how many. The bottom is the name of the fraction. Like in this case, we have 3/4. How many quarters do we have? 3 is on top. So it's very important to know all these four, definitions of a fraction. To me, a fraction is just a whole number on top, a whole number at the bottom. The top is the count, how many. The bottom is the name of the fraction. The top multiplies while the bottom divides. To solve fractional problems or any word problems in mathematics, use these three steps. Step 1, the setup. You put an item on top with a label and an item at the bottom with the label. In some cases, that's all you need. You just divide the bottom number into the top number. That gives you the answer. Like when we say $12 an hour. $12 is on top. 1 hour, you have to work for 1 hour in order to get the $12. If there are two fractions, then you'll have two sets of top and bottom with labels. Top with the label and bottom with the label. Then the top with the label and the bottom with the label. There could be three fractions, then there will be three sets of top, bottom, times top, bottom, times top, bottom. The second step, reduce. Since we're using calculators, we don't have to worry about the numbers reducing. Okay. But identical items on top cancel out identical items at the bottom. That's a very important step. Step 3, you then multiply all the numbers on top and divide by the numbers at the bottom. Those are the 3 steps: set up, reduce, and multiply. Example, $1 equals to 4/4. If the question asks for quarters, then 4/4 go on top, $1 goes at the bottom. And then you multiply by the dollars given. They will give you the dollars. Okay, they will say, how many quarters are so many dollars? The way you set up your 4/4 is on top, $1 is at the bottom, then you multiply by the dollars given. If the question asks for dollars, then $1 is on top and 4/4 will be at the bottom. They will give you the number of quarters in that bag, so you find how many dollars it is. Here's an example. Cindy Gomez bought a used car for $3,126. For 6 months, she paid the same amount monthly. Here's the question. How much were her monthly payments? Since the question is asking for money, our setup will be the $3,126 will be on top and 6 months will be at the bottom. There is our setup here. There's money on top, months at the bottom. This is only one fraction. So there's nothing else that's given except these two numbers with their labels. So we simply pull out our calculator and we divide 6 into 3,126. And we come up with $521 per month. That's what your monthly payments. There's nothing to reduce here. There's no label on top that's the same as a label at the bottom. So we just use our calculator, divide 6 into 3,126. Your answer should she paid $521 per month. Second example. If 2 hours is 20% of the time it takes to do a job, how much time will it take to complete the job? The question is, we are looking for the time to complete the job. So the 2 hours, the time, 2 hours goes on top, 20% goes at the bottom. We can't solve this with that one fraction cannot give us an answer. We want to find out how long it takes to complete the job. So now we multiply. We multiply by percent on top, complete one complete job at the bottom. To complete the job is 100%. That's something you have to remember. A whole means 100%. In this case, percent on top cancels out percent at the bottom. Those are the identical items that are top and bottom. Then we pull out our calculator and multiply. We multiply 2 times 100 on top, then divide by 20. And our answer will be 10 hours to complete the job. There were two fractions here. That's why we have two sets of top and bottoms. Example 3. If 15% of your money is $6.24, how much cash do you have? We are looking for cash. So the $6.24 is on top, while 15% is at the bottom for the first fraction. Then we multiply here by 100%. 100% means all the cash that you have, and one cash amount at the bottom for the second fraction. Once again, percent on top cancels out percent at the bottom, or takes out percent at the bottom. You can use cancel, get rid of, whatever. You can't have a label on top that's identical to a label at the bottom. Now we pull out the calculator. We then input the numbers, 6.24 times 100 on top, then divide by 15. The answer we get is $41.60 cash. There were two fractions here, two sets of top and bottom. Example 4. If Henry earned $203 in 7 days, how much did he earn each day? Each means divide. But anyway, we're looking for money. So $203 is on top, 7 days is at the bottom. There's only one fraction here. There's nothing we can reduce. So we simply pull out our calculator and divide 203 by 7. We'll get $29 a day. You can read the answer is $29 per day. $29 on top, 1 day at the bottom, or read it as $29 per day. Example 5. If Tom walks 7 miles in 3 hours, how far can he walk in 5 hours? We're looking for the distance in miles. 7 miles is on top, while 3 hours is on the bottom for our first fraction. We then multiply by 5 hours on top and 1 distance at the bottom for our second fraction. That's the distance we're trying to find. Again, hours on top cancel hours at the bottom. You see the hours knock each other out. So pull out my calculator. 7 times 5, then divide by 3. The answer is 11.66666. So we round it off to 11.7 miles is the distance in 5 hours. Example 6. On a flight, there were 104 occupied seats. This is 80% of the total seat capacity. How many seats are on the plane at full capacity? We're looking for the total number of seats on this plane. So 10 seats on top, while 80% is on the bottom for our first fraction. We then multiply by 100%. 100% means every seat is occupied on top and full capacity at the bottom. One whole plane capacity, full capacity. Again, percent cancels out percent. We pull out the calculator, input our numbers. 104 times 100, then divide by 80. The answer is 130 seats at full capacity.